Hey everyone, my name is Jason. Welcome to Tap Into the Gray. The purpose of this episode is for introductory purposes only, where I want to share with you who I am and the purpose of this show overall, what the overall effect is that I'm going for. So, my name is Jace. Legally, my name is Jason. I just like going by Jace. And I am based out of Florida. I'm a 47-year-old Puerto Rican man that just loves to do things like create, whether it's art, whether it's, sound, all kinds of things. And I'm finally taking the steps to do my podcast. I've been itching to do a podcast for so long, but this one really, really means a lot there to me. Tapping into Gray. Probably guessed, it's tapping into my mind, our minds. I think it's very important in our lives to identify, which is a big word for me, identify certain things about ourselves so that way we can self-improve. And self-improvement is not an easy task. It can take time. And through this whole podcast deal, I'm hoping that it serves as a bit of a journal, also a bit of accountability, and also hopefully it helps somebody else out there when they listen to my podcast, because I know when I was younger, I probably would have appreciated some of the conversation that I'm going to lay down, some things that I've learned along the way, things that have worked for me, some things that have not, but it's always a work in progress. 2 steps forward, 1 step back is still progress. Things aren't perfect for me. I was just recently diagnosed with a chronic illness, neuropathy, if you're curious. And I've got several other illnesses. And also, I'm learning here as of recent that I've had some mental quirks, ADHD. I could very well be slightly on the autism spectrum. But that's my journey. And through this journey, I want to share what I can. Because I believe in vulnerability. In order to self-improve, it's not just putting in the work. It's also being vulnerable through the process to yourself and even to other people. I do appreciate vulnerability. So, if that's something that you're not comfortable with, hey, this is something that I hope you do wind up getting comfortable with through my show. I ain't trying to shoo nobody away. Vulnerability is an acquired taste. It's something that I had to acquire through the years, and I've gotten better at it. And it's helped me in a whole lot of areas, but there are still plenty of areas that I need improvement on. As I mentioned, just recently being diagnosed with neuropathy, which is a pretty hellacious chronic illness. I feel it right now, where there's this buzzing, crazy sensations throughout, my body, and especially when it comes down to my hands and my feet. Also, there's stabbing sensations and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm not trying to make this all about that. I mention it because it put me in a very ill state of mind. It caused me to lose so much. The illness caused me to pretty much renounce my ability, my privilege to drive out of responsibility. Legally, I can. I just don't want to go driving around hurting anyone, killing anyone, right? But that also came with losing the ability of holding a steady job. And it's contributed to a whole lot more loss. And I was falling and falling and falling until I just had enough. And I've been there the whole enough. And it's helped me progress in my life. And I'm glad I have the strength in saying, you know what? No more. There has to be a way to work on this as I have with other things in my life. I am not a therapist. I'm not some dude that's like a life coach. I'm just an average dude that wants to talk to you guys utilizing stories, some experiences that I had throughout my years that I feel that will probably contribute to helping the betterment of others through, relativity basically, like, oh, I can relate to that. And and saying, hey, this worked for me. That didn't work for me. Now, I'm not silly. Everybody is different. What works for me may not work for you. So if I ever throw out suggestions, it's just take it with a grain of salt. It kind of worked for me. Maybe there's somebody out there who's like, yo, this dude, he thinks and he talks like me. Maybe that might work for me. If not, you're probably like, that's some crazy shit. I'm not going to try that. I'm going to go do something else. The point of the matter is, being on this mic, do something. Don't be idle. Sleep is a cousin of death, like Nas has said, and that's the last thing we want to do is become stagnant, because being stagnant doesn't produce anything in any way, shape, or form. Look, you could be out there feeling, I'm not stagnant. I work 50, 60, 70 hours a week for a mega company. No, dude. Hey, that's work. But what kind of work are you putting in for yourself if you're not happy, right, with how things are going for you? And maybe someone like me that is not happy with the way I can think at times, and recently identifying with ADHD and potential autism, just a little autistic, it's a struggle. It is such a struggle, because self-improvement, you would want to be a linear path, and it's like jagged, frayed, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, as long as there's progress. But it's never this linear path, and that shit is okay. We can get there as long as the commitment is there, right? On and off throughout the years, that has been me. If wait till I share stories, you're going to be like, nah, this guy? Yeah, this guy. I've lived a full spectrum of life. I've been homeless. I've had a lot of money. I've hung out with gangsters. I've hung out with millionaires. I love brutality, like in MMA and boxing, and I love cuteness. I love adoration. I'm just a full spectrum kind of guy with a massive mindscape, a massive mindscape. And I'm multifaceted. I am not a pro at anything. I have a lot of abilities at a very, beginner, intermediate level, but I combine them to do my pro shit. I'm very skilled at doing that, and I'm very proud of it, but it's time to work on the mind again. And this podcast will serve as accountability and as record. And also, hopefully, like I said, I hope that this helps somebody out there. I know when I was young, there's some things that I've learned along the way here myself that I wish I had heard. And I want to contribute. There's somebody out there that I just recently listened to their podcast. They just got started, and it inspired me. And there were things that they were saying were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That made me feel human, and feeling like a human, like I'm a person. That, hey, look, I'm not the only one that's feeling this stuff and going through this stuff. That is such a massive contribution to my humanity. It's wonderful. And I want to pass that along. Sometimes the littlest thing can contribute to the biggest results, good, positive results. And that's what I'm striving for here nowadays. Through all the losses here recently of what I've been going through, I'm still going to push, and I want to push with you. Whenever you hear something, leave a comment. Send me something. Maybe it'll give me something to chew on, something to reflect on, something that I can talk about. I believe in engagement, vulnerability, big word, vulnerability. I believe it is a massive part. It plays a massive, massive part in, one's journey of self-improvement. Without that, it makes it much more difficult. And sometimes I guess I just have to say it, and I can't be sorry. It's not real. There's no reality to it. It's just surface level. Vulnerability is depth. And here on my podcast, we gonna get down to the abyss, baby. We gonna get down. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there you have it. just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight as to, who I am and what this podcast is all about. And I'll certainly be doing things more scripted. I want to try to talk about certain things and bring up life instances that, will certainly be a part and is relative to topics that I bring up. Anyway, you have a great, blessed day. One love, baby. Work on yourself. Be positive. Even through all the storms that are out there, remember, nothing lasts forever. No storm lasts forever. No feeling lasts forever. And that's one saying that I certainly want to tap into, all puns intended, later on down the road. Take care. Thanks for listening.